Madam President, the right to live by faith, any faith of our choosing, or no faith at all if we choose, is part of what defines us and allows us to live out our lives in dignity and respect. It's also what makes for a well-ordered society. It provides relief for those who are suffering. Members of our communities, citizens of our country, were able to live out their lives with religious freedom prior to the pandemic. With the pandemic and the corresponding growth of government, we've seen some of those rights threatened and infringed. I introduced this amendment for the simple purpose of making sure that we as a Senate have the ability to protect the religious freedom of all Americans, even when, especially when, government is growing as a result of a crisis. I urge each of my colleagues to support this, and with it, freedom of religion.
Madam President.
The Majority Whip.
In this ragtag middle-of-the-night procedure, the senator from Utah asks a basic question. What if my freedom conflicts with your freedom? Specifically, what if my freedom of religious belief says that I don't have to sell my home to an African American? What if my religious belief says that I don't have to pay women the same thing as men who work for me? What if my religious belief says that I can discriminate against a person because of their sexual orientation? I read the senator's amendment as saying the answer is obvious. Religion prevails. I don't think it's that simple. It's not that simple in this building or across the street in the Supreme Court. If we're dealing with the fundamental question of discrimination based on religious belief, we all want to make certain that we acknowledge and respect religious belief, but we also feel pretty strongly about the rights of individuals when it comes to their gender, their identity, their sexual orientation, their color, the fact that they may be disabled. Arguing that religious belief would allow me to discriminate with impunity is a pretty large question to assert at this time of night. I hope my colleagues will join me in opposing this Lee amendment.
Madam President, I ask unanimous consent for 15 seconds to respond.
Objection.
Madam President, there is absolutely nothing in this amendment, and absolutely nothing about the suggestion that we ought to respect religious freedom that suggests what my friend and colleague from Illinois has just suggested. It's offensive to the cause of religious freedom. It's contrary to the Supreme Court's ruling in Employment Division versus Smith and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. It's contrary to the Constitution for people to sue religious orders, forcing nuns to purchase contraceptive
The senator's
coverage.
time has expired.
I ask for the yeas and nays and demand a vote on religious freedom.